The hate.
Salute, ATP. It's your boy Rain. Yeah, it's an ATP Combat Media Show. And your boy Rain back at you with another one. Shout out to all my subscribers. If this is your first time tapping into this content, I do invite you to go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Hit your bell icons as well so you are getting alerts when all this content is dropping. So, look, Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia in the news again, right? Never for the good stuff, right? Never for the good stuff. Or is this the good stuff? Let's talk about it. Guys, you know, unless you've been sleeping under a rock, that Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia have been bumping heads for a while now, ever since April 20th. Really, ever since 2 weeks after April 20th, when Ryan Garcia popped on a performance enhancement drug, Ostarine was popped in his system. A big, whole entire messy situation, but the New York State Athletic Commission ultimately came to the conclusion that the best way to solve this was going to be to suspend Ryan Garcia, hold him accountable for the performance enhancement drugs he put in the system, as well as take away the win that he got against Devin Haney. And of course, you know, for Devin Haney, that loss being taken off his record. So on paper, he looks like an undefeated fighter, but you know, in reality, we all saw what we saw. I doubt that can just go away. Present day situation is Devin Haney and his team have decided to file a lawsuit against Ryan Garcia, ultimately hold him accountable, not just through his boxing career as far as letting the New York State Athletic Commission punish him, but they also want to be compensated. They want to be compensated for, I guess, battery, fraud, breach of contract, all those things, right? Battery, obviously, for what happened in the ring. Fraud because you lied. You presented yourself as somebody who's going to be a clean fighter, who's going to make weight, and you did it in a breach of contract because we had it documented and we agreed and signed on the paper that this is what was going to happen. You violated that. So it looks like Devin Haney and his team and his lawyer have come to a conclusion that they may be owed some sort of settlement, some sort of compensation for the way that fight went, right? Well, the boxing space is losing their mind, right? The boxing space is losing their mind. And when I'm talking about the boxing space, I'm really talking about the YouTube space, right? The content creators, the fans, you could say, who are sharing their thoughts on this across all platforms, right? Across all these different channels. And a lot of these guys are all of a sudden just super, I'm trying to think the best word to describe it, but let's just say that they feel like there's a way that a man should be handling this, that a fighter should be handling this, and that the way Devin Haney is handling this isn't like a fighter. They want it to be settled in the ring. They want Devin Haney to go and get it back in blood. You'll hear a lot of, what about when Cotto fought Margarito and Cotto came back and got it in blood? He never sued Margarito, right? You guys are right. And I understand where everybody's coming from, right? Like, Devin Haney's in a sport where you're getting punched on. It's a combat sport. Although Ryan Garcia did cheat officially, that's a fact. He put performance enhancement drugs in his system that were going to help enhance his performance. That's a fact. But still, it seems as if the boxing space has embraced this generation of boxing fan has embraced performance enhancement drugs, right? They want to know, was it enough to help you in that fight, or was it not enough? They want the breakdown, because at the end of the day, what you're seeing now, more fans of actual boxers than actual boxing itself, right? So in order to defend or to persecute or attack a boxer that they don't like, in this case, Devin Haney, I mean, let's be honest, we don't need to beat around the bush. Tank is the face of boxing. Devin Haney, somebody who's consistently for a long time been calling out Tank, with his father calling out Tank and speaking ill of Tank at times. You have a lot of fans of the face of boxing who don't like Devin Haney. He's on the opposite side of the conversation when it comes to Tank Davis. So they don't want any leniency towards Devin Haney. They feel like, listen, you're not the first person to fight against somebody with a performance enhancement drug in their system. Not everybody loses. You didn't lose because that guy was on Ostarine. You lost because your skills were suspect that night. You dropped your right hand, and Ryan Garcia was able to capitalize, hitting you repeatedly with left hooks. That had nothing to do with Ostarine. And once again, I empathize and I understand and I hear what everybody's saying as I watch the same fight you guys did. I saw Devin Haney fundamentally had flaws in that fight. There were holes in his game that night that didn't have anything to do with Ostarine. But regardless, one doesn't have to do with the other, right? One thing has nothing to do with the other. And that one thing is, did Devin Haney contribute to himself losing that night? I believe that. But did Ryan Garcia's performance enhancement drugs aid Ryan Garcia, not hurt him, help him do something better? Being that ostarine helps you lose weight without losing muscle. Did he benefit from being strong that night? Did he benefit for keeping his muscle and not having a bad weight cut like he claims he did against Gervonta Tank Davis? I would say it's reasonable to argue that. So Devin Haney clearly has taken that personal, as a space has spit on him, thrown him to the side, right? Put him in a little box and said, you're insignificant, pillow-fisted. You don't have the heart of a lion. They have a hard time giving him his accolades and celebrating him the way they celebrate other boxers. And it almost looks like you can say Devin Haney's become a little bit indifferent with the boxing space. And although people are trying to communicate that his reputation is going to get flushed down the toilet, and that this is not going to do it, that we're going to ostracize him, we're going to criticize him, we're going to speak to him about our discontent or our contempt for the way for the way he's handling this. Devin Haney seems to be on an island all by himself with his family, where he doesn't care. He's desensitized to the complaints, and he's going to do what benefits him and his family. Can I fault him? I don't think I can, right? And even if I could, I don't think I would, because at the end of the day, Ryan Garcia cheated. And he cheated in a sport where he could kill somebody with his hands, right? I mean, in any sport, baseball, for example, they're using performance enhancement drugs, but at least they're hitting a baseball, right? They're winning games unfairly. They're getting leverage to win games unfairly, hit a lot of home runs, things of that nature, but they're not putting their hands on somebody, punching, concussing people, and putting people in a position to where it could change their whole entire life, right? You look at the fighters that you see today who are punchy, right? We don't need to speak about what the sport does supposedly naturally already. You add performance enhancement drugs to it. Some fighters would say that should be punishable by jail time, put in prison, right? You talk to Zab Judah about using performance enhancement drugs, he might have a different opinion than you guys who think that it's not a big deal, right? As he had a real traumatic experience with somebody who's on performance enhancement drugs when they were fighting him. So who am I to scrutinize Devin Haney for what he feels like he needs to do? If there is money there and he wins this case, hindsight will say that's money that was there, and they would have left it on the floor. They would have not picked up that money, and they're prize fighters at the end of the day. And if Devin Haney has something coming to him, he should get it. He should get it. That's how I feel about it. But in all reality, I have no horse in the race. But it's going to be interesting to watch how this develops. Another layer to this whole entire situation is not only is Devin Haney suing Ryan Garcia, but the lawsuit includes Oscar De La Hoya. How does it include Oscar De La Hoya? Well, it includes him because while they're trying to make a claim that Ryan Garcia has hurt Devin Haney financially by breaching the contract and things of that nature, in that lawsuit, it seems like it's also naming Oscar De La Hoya for Oscar De La Hoya Promotions, from Golden Boy Promotions, saying Haney's seeking a full accounting of the event that includes evidence to support expenses. The only person who has that is Oscar De La Hoya and Golden Boy Promotion. So Haney was entitled to 47% of the event's profits, and he wants to show, he wants the books to help support his argument that he didn't make the money he wanted to make, or he could have made, or, I'm not too sure, really, you know what I mean? But I can tell you this, having access to that information and having a professional team audit that, hopefully, you would hope that Oscar De La Hoya did everything by the book, because if he doesn't, that's another whole part of this this situation that we haven't started entertaining yet. Now, Oscar De La Hoya hasn't responded to this at all. That usually means, being that we know Oscar's a very vocal person, that usually means he's probably doing something with his lawyers as well, who are instructing him to not speak on a situation, which could be a good thing, bad thing, regular thing. It could just be a default way to be when the lawsuit has your name come up in it. Either way, it's going to be interesting to see how this develops. If Devin Haney does win this case, he very well may set a precedent at this point of how performance enhancement drug offenders are treated and what kind of punishment that they can be eligible for, especially with the guys who get caught after they performed in the ring, right? It's one thing to get caught during training camp, you know what I mean? Like Canelo Alvarez, did Canelo pop afterwards? No, I believe it was before the fight with Canelo, right? So it didn't affect, he didn't hurt nobody. He didn't put his hands on somebody. Whereas in this case scenario, Devin Haney kind of went through the 12 rounds of hell with Ryan Garcia and ultimately was on the receiving end of punches from somebody who's on performance enhancement drugs. So this could set a precedent. I don't remember the last time I seen a fighter do this, go this route, sue another fighter for using performance enhancement drugs. This is going to be interesting to see how it develops, but we'll give it its time. We'll keep a close eye on it, and obviously we'll be back as this thing develops to speak on it. But you guys let me know in the comments, what do you think about what Devin Haney's doing? Is this a good or a bad thing for boxing? Is this is he destroying his reputation by doing this, or do we not even have a horse in the race? I think it's an interesting topic, and watching as a boxing fan, right, and now having a channel and speaking on this sport the way I do now in comparison to me just being a fan of the sport, let's say 8 months ago, it's going to be interesting to watch how this breaks down and see how the courts handle the situation and see how Ryan Garcia handles it. He's already come out and, saying the wrong thing, right? He's already, I'm being sued for doing my job. No, your job was to make weight that night. Your job was to make sure and monitor everything that you put in your body, make sure that you was a clean athlete that night. You didn't do your job, right? And he puts this fight was a Netflix documentary, but this here is the finale. Your Honor, he simply struggles with the left hook syndrome. Maybe he does suffer from that, but you also suffer from a lack of discipline, right? Let's be honest. And as far as this being a Netflix documentary, who made it a documentary? The buildup to the fight was a documentary, right? Ryan Garcia's antics did that. And I'm not trying to, kick the guy's back in, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. If walking like a duck and quack like a duck, probably a duck, right? In this situation, Ryan Garcia has been unprofessional about this from the beginning, which is probably why it's getting the attention it's getting. The way he's been rubbing it in and having no accountability and denying and placing blame on other strength and conditioning coaches and people helping, Scooter from out of Brooklyn, saying that he gave him contaminated supplements, and Scooter obviously adamantly denying that, saying that he never did that. So it is messy. And you're right, Ryan. It is a Netflix documentary movie. Maybe they might make it one day because it's getting more and more interesting. It doesn't look like it's going to die anytime soon. Rematches. Will they ever fight each other? Who knows, right? Who knows? But guys, leave it in the comments. Let me know what you think at this point. Is Devin Haney throwing away his career at this point? Has he already been ostracized enough to where he probably doesn't even care and it doesn't matter? Do we care? Should we care? What do we care if we are going to care? Give me your opinion. Let me know what you think in the comments. Salute to all my subscribers again. I really appreciate you guys. Really helping this channel grow, and it is growing. If this is your first time tapping in, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon so you get alerts when the content is dropping, guys. And at this point, you know how we carry it. Yup.